Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Fuzzy on the Details, presenting Blood Hunt. Where we left off last game is wrapping up a big battle with the Thinker amongst other enemies, including Primus and a few Hydra agents. And the party's a little weakened right now, at least the members that don't have healing factor. We've worked our way into this map room in the Boston Public Library. We know for a fact that there are these large tentacle monsters, these giant robots that are in the courtyard that have not been dealt with. There are other rooms in the library that we have not explored, but we are a little wounded. We've also found some exceptional books and pieces of literature and maps and other information that we haven't yet digested that Zelma is very excited about. And we need to figure out what we need to do. But before we do that, let's check in on what incremental changes we have made via the Getting School rules. Let's start with Cullen. What did you upgrade since the end of last game?
Well, Colin's just he's realizing that he can't always rely on his ranged attacks, so
Mhm.
he's investing a little bit of time into his close combat skills, and he's raised his melee by one.
Nice. That's one of the things I really like about using Getting Schooled is
Yes.
I think it fuels some more role playing, more character inspired growth rather than just picking what is the most powerful thing I can take, giving some time to organically improve your character based on what happened to them recently for me is fun. Is it the absolute most ideal way to improve your character from a pure numbers perspective? Not only, but I think it makes for a better game.
You
So,
can in fact plan your whole character out
mm,
ahead of time, and therefore and then sort of build your backstory, your storyline, your arc for this series of games, for
mm.
this level, for that character. So, which hint hint.
All right, let's go to Jen. What has Spitfire decided to upgrade?
Since we took a lot of damage in the last attack, she has increased her resilience by one, which means that the healing factor is a little bit more powered up.
Yep. And
Had
30 more health on top of that too. Yeah,
four before, which meant she would heal 3 points of health at a time. Now she will heal 4 per
right.
turn.
Nice. And Gremdavel, what is the Rose Pastor going to be improving?
Alder's still embracing self-preservation a little bit. So he's taking untouchable position. If the character is attacked, all other close attacks against them have trouble until the start of their next turn, which is also the last prerequisite until I am able to take regain focus.
Right. And I know you've been gearing towards that for a long time. It's kind of like a little bit of like a healing factor, but for focus.
Yeah.
All right. And then Connor. We're going to skip Connor. We have some potentially special things in Connor's future. We're going to screw with him a little bit more. We're not quite done messing with Vann. Okay, so yeah, so to recap, you know, uh, earlier this day, which has been a couple of games now, you got in the pickup truck, you drove to Copley Square, which is right across the street from the Boston Public Library, scoped out the area, scoped out the church to the north of the street, scoped out the roof of the building, planted a camera there to spy on the goings on within the courtyard, made your way back into the building, encountered these tentacles in the courtyard, were not able to take them out, really feeling the loss of the werewolf in that combat. Made your way on the inside of the building to get to this map room where you found and fought the Mad Thinker, who appeared to be organizing some sort of search. Another entity, an android-ish looking character he was with called Primus was there. You did some really great rolling with him, a couple fantastic successes on both an ego and a logic check, I believe, to sort of convince him perhaps that maybe Hydra wasn't the best example to follow when looking to elevate oneself into a higher being, which Primus was focused on. So he skedaddled, leaving you alone in this room since you defeated the other Hydra officers and Thinker. So really, it's just moments after that. You've had an opportunity to look through the stash. There were some satchels that the Hydra agents had collected, and there were some open books and maps and atlases that they had brought as well that they had open and were looking through. So you found notably this one book called the Astronomicon, which had all sorts of crazy information involving the sun and the moon and ancient Egypt and all sorts of stuff there that Zelma is dying to dig into. You also found some other maps about the Boston area, especially off the seaboard, maybe within 100 miles of Boston, going into the Atlantic. And you also found some of this raw data that cartographers would have collected before they kind of went back and maybe turned their records into a map. Like they weren't literally on a boat drawing the map. They were on a boat plotting points and then taking those logbooks back, back home and then maybe making the map at home. So you've got a lot of that raw data to parse through as well, which is a remarkable find only in this library, the only place on the East Coast where you could have found anything like this. And Hydra happened to have an interest in that. Why? We don't know at this point. But here we are in the map room. Maybe now that the silence has kind of taken over this room, you don't have people shouting in German anymore. The Thinker is dead. Everyone else is dead here. You could maybe start hearing some of those mechanical sounds coming from the courtyard area. Nothing pounding up against the door like it was on the other side of the courtyard when they were trying to get through the wall to get to you because they couldn't get through the door. They were too big. But definitely stirrings happening in the courtyard. What would you guys like to do?
Leave.
Okay. How would you like to make your exit?
Through the front door.
Okay, so kind of walk around back the way you came.
Yep.
Avoid.
Yep.
So we have to go through the courtyard.
No.
Yeah, you'd have to at least skirt by.
We don't have to go. Oh, well, okay. So I guess. Well, how do we do that though? Because I'm not looking at the map anymore.
Spitfire just ran you guys through. If you recall, there were those columns and there was an overhang, and you could see them. But Spitfire was quick enough where it could just run you through. Perhaps that was a one-time deal. They might be aware that that's a possibility. We could say, I mean, without having to bring the map up, we could say if your interest is in leaving, there are probably other exits, maybe they're employee only exits, but there are other ways you could get out if you want without exploring a new area that you haven't come across yet.
I have the map up, and also now I've been there in person, so I know what it looks like. And I know that once you go down the steps from the map center, you can go back into that whole old section of the building that we investigated. But if you want to go into the new section, everything there is it's open. It's just open space and glass and like the steel frame of the building, and it's all open and glass. So if we wanted to exit that direction, if there aren't any tentacles in there, I'm betting we probably could just scoot through there.
Yes. So let's share the screen here.
Yes, given that Spitfire is the one who knows the layout of the place, I will trust whatever Spitfire's recommendation is on getting out.
Yes.
So I think somewhere over here is where the map room would be, right?
Oh, it's below those
Fans?
those fans. Yeah, it's in that area underneath those fans. And then the Boylston Street exit.
Yeah, so we can see right here. This
is that wall I see.
An exit over there. There's, gates over here. There are large windows. It looks like there's another exit over here. So I think we'll say without without getting too into it, there are multiple ways you could get out, and I think this route is probably the best over here.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll say you can get your way. I mean, this looks like some sort of delivery entrance. So maybe you got to go down one level, and you can make your way there and get out without much of a fuss.
Is that
Sound
what,
good?
does that sound good to everybody else?
Yeah. So you can make your way out here. You had parked somewhere near Copley Square. And I would say, yeah, the tentacles do not appear to want to go over the walls of the courtyard. They are staying relatively low. I'll I'll say that if you wanted to, you could, you still have the camera set up there, so you can leave that there
Yeah.
and remotely view that at any time. And did you set up any cameras across the street? Or did the only camera you set up is the one over the courtyard?
I think no, I think we did. I thought we tried to do one on the street level too.
Yeah, I thought so too. Maybe just guarding the front door. So yeah, but even if you
That's
didn't, you can
right.
set one up there. So you can have one facing the front door, and you can have one, I think it was right around over
Yep.
here in the corner,
Mhm.
looking down into the courtyard. And that's something you'd be able to view live for as long as the batteries last, which would be, days, if not
Okay.
weeks. They're probably pretty efficient.
Yeah. Okay.
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 All
Let's
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you can make your way back to the car without incident and make your way back to the curio. That's where
Mm-hmm.
you're headed.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. You get back to the curio. The entire way back, Zelma is just reading through, skimming through some of these books. And she is very eager to sort of cross-reference some things with some more sort of more modern magic, let's say. Like this is
Mhm.
very old, very ancient, and she's looking to do some cross-referencing to see what could be done.
Well, we've got a library at the Curio, so I just
Yeah.
sort of just take everything to the library when she gets back, and then she can just have at it, and we'll make sure somebody brings her something to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get to the front, you get to the front entrance. You can certainly radio ahead to make sure that the other folks that are there, Barnabas, for example, knows that you're coming and can, make sure things are opened. And again, the closer you get into the area where the curio is, the more normal things appear. Like you might see a couple of police cars driving by or retrofitted pickup trucks like you have. We talked about the fire trucks that are now very popular in the area, fire trucks with priests on it to bless the water that's in the tank in case they come across. Right. So this is like sort of heavy duty, and we'll certainly say that you are all well known to those police officers and other first responders that are manning these vehicles. So from a distance, they give you a wave, maybe even holler, how many did you kill? That stuff, and they maybe
Not
even
enough.
Always.
maybe maybe one of them stops by and sees that a couple of you are banged up and share some food and water with you, even though you're not that far away, just as a gesture of thanks more than any real practical help, right? They're thrilled that you guys are going out past what they've secured and looking to take territory back. They're like, Boston strong, we're gonna take it to them. You guys rock. You guys are wicked smart or something.
Just about imagine.
Just about imagine. That's farther north, right? That's like Vermont talk or something there.
Yeah, that's
Is it
very,
Boston? Is it?
that's definitely Massachusetts. Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. What the fuck do I know? I'm a Brooklyn born boy living in Jersey. The antithesis. I don't have my Yankee hat on.
Putting
Um,
us big Boston person that we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the Jersey boy living in Connecticut, so
Yeah.
I hear it all the time.
All right, cool. Yeah, so you make your way back. Obviously, the security, as we talked about, is next level now. Barnabas has to, shut some things down before he lets you in. And yeah, you're able to get in. I suppose the one of the first things you see is right where you left him. Uh, Jericho Drum's brother,
Mm.
Daniel, is still there in his astral form, which is visible because it's high enough rank where that's visible to normal people. This pale moonlight blue, and he's still struggling. you know as you enter, he nods. He's got it under control, but it's a reminder that he cannot do this forever.
Hmm.
uh, and maybe Zelma looks at him and sort of is like, right, all right, I can prioritize that. All right, give me some time. And she runs off to the library, skipping down the hall to get to the library with all these, satchels and books and atlases in hand.
Nice.
Um, so let's go around. Rose Pastor, what would you like to focus on doing?
I mean, Alder is also pretty hurt, both physically and mentally pretty exhausted. Um, so I think probably needs to spend some time recovering
Okay.
from that
So,
whole experience.
and I'm pretty sure, dang it, what's his name? Adam.
Mhm.
Adam and Barnabas are both well versed in like first aid and stuff like that, so I can probably help. Probably safer to do it with Adam than Barnabas right now. So, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, you know, you wouldn't have like the, healing skills in the game, like the healing power. So I think what we would be looking at is just regular rest, and for every hour that you rest, you get some health and focus back.
Hmm.
I think Alder would probably also, looking pretty beat up, probably like, a little bloodied, bruised. Um, Probably looks like he's been in a fight. It looks really cool.
Hmm.
So probably take that opportunity to really like take some pictures, maybe take a video, um, just to
Oh,
continue the narrative of
Nice.
himself and this group being
yes.
heroes on the front lines.
Right.
If you would like to donate,
So you're
um,
are you adding to your blog? Is that
yeah,
Yeah, so you've got your recording studio set up. So yeah, so you
that's
can
right.
go
yes.
there, set the lighting in just the right way to highlight the bruises, maybe a little makeup, touching up, just
Yeah,
just just to make it more authentic looking. You're not lying or deceiving. You're just,
I am exhausted. Yeah,
yeah, see, there you go.
but some things come above the self.
Right. All right, yeah, so you can spend some time doing that. Jen, anything Spitfire would like to handle upon return back to the
She's gonna have a stiff drink and then go off and help Zelma.
Okay. What type of help? Like how
Well,
would that manifest?
Zelma mentioned like matching this to modern magic, and MI13 has a lot of data collected on modern magic. I mean, it's specifically central to British magic, so
Right.
it may not apply to stuff in Boston, but if there's anything that she can help in terms of, connecting Zelma with resources, or just backing her up on, tracking what she's got, what she doesn't have, what she needs, just,
Right.
be
Yeah.
there.
Do you want to uh try and uh connect her to, directly to the MI13 resources, like give FISA a call or something?
I just can't remember if calls to FISA were working at this point.
Yeah, I think they've been reestablished because recall at the beginning of the game where Connor had the internal battle, FISA was on video conference essentially when Elsa was in the room. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's been reestablished in the next couple of days. In fact, that's what allowed uh, MI13 to bring in the upgrades to the security system, right? You know, viewing you guys as kind of being more effective at pushing back the vampires. So looking at you guys as sort of like a beachhead in this area and wanting to support you so you can keep doing the good work that you guys have been doing that maybe elsewhere in the world hasn't been as successful. So yeah, you can
Yeah,
definitely give her a
definitely
buzz.
touch with FISA, or, if I have a direct line to somebody who
Yeah.
has the text that Selma thinks she needs,
Yeah,
get.
we'll say probably Pfizer is your best bet because maybe you wouldn't know precisely. Uh, yeah, so you can give her a call. She's more than happy to make the time to talk to you. She looks a little tired herself, but like everyone is, everyone's kind of like not sleeping and just trying to get as much work done as they can. Um, uh, and she does share some information with you. In fact, she just launches right into it before asking what you have to say. She goes, "Oh, glad you called. Was waiting for you to give me a call. Um, I do have some information. I found out what was behind the moon coming back.
Excellent.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to talk to some of the folks in New York, and apparently a small group of individuals, and I don't know the details of this, but I got three names for you.
Okay.
Tigra
Mm-hmm.
of the West Coast Avengers fame, and lately has been hanging out at the Midnight Mission in New York City,
Mm-hmm.
along with Hunter's Moon,
Mm-hmm.
who is a devotee of Khonshu, as we understand it, somebody who has been raised in importance in the Church of Khonshu ever since Mark Spector Moon Knight's death. And then a third individual, believe it or not, by the name of Dirk Garthwaite,
Okay.
also known as the Wrecker.
All right.
So I'm not sure what the plan was, but apparently, led by Tigra, the three of them traveled to some sort of Asgardian plane or something and
Okay.
were able to free the god Khonshu from imprisonment. There was some unpleasantness where, you know how these things go, tried to take over the known universe or some such, and he was imprisoned. And apparently, when you have a crowbar infused with Asgardian power, that's precisely the type of thing you need to jailbreak a god. Who knew? Apparently, Tigra. So again, we weren't involved in those plans, but we did pick this up as to that's why the moon is back, is because the god of the moon and of travelers at night and whatnot had been imprisoned, and now he is back, and that's huge news. So we are exploring other ways. Believe me, we got people looking at who are the gods of the sun? What is Apollo doing right now? Is he a thing? You know, we're researching all of that. We're not finding any way we can move that forward, but we are investigating that. So that was certainly a revelation to us. So anyway, that's what we've got. What do you got for me?
So we have managed to get some information from the Mad Thinker, who is unfortunately now the former Mad Thinker, and who got maps of oceanic data, the type of data that you collect before you make the map. And we've
Oh,
got a book called the Astronomicon, that's got some ancient magics in it, and we are interested in connecting it to modern magics and trying to figure out what the vampires were trying to get out of this source.
Okay. I'm not personally familiar with that, but I will pass that information on and I'll have my folks look into it and we'll get back to you and give me a few hours, I guess, and we'll let you know what we find, if anything, and any hints, clues, anything like that we can pass on.
Sounds good. Thank
Cool.
you.
Did you hopefully kill a lot of vampires while you got this book? Or did you just...
Not as many as we hoped.
Okay, well, some is better than none.
Never enough, though.
All right, yeah, ain't that the way. All right. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. That's interesting news and we'll certainly get our folks on that and yeah, we'll talk soon.
Thanks, FISA.
All right. So she hangs up. Cullen, what would you like to do?
I also pour a stiff drink. Uh, a good 4 fingers of whiskey. Scotch, because Scotch. But and I send a quick text to Elsa just to say, just to touch base. I give her some similar information regarding the thinker and all of that stuff. But then I go off on my own to a quiet room.
Uh-huh.
And I start to do some meditating that so a twist on the whole Lyra backstory. So like Lyra apparently,
The younger
in
sister.
yes, the
Right.
other sister apparently like frees Cullen of the Glartrox,
Mhm.
but something in there was like, it was like if you're ready or when you're ready or something like that, which led me to think
Mm.
that you have to give it up on your own. And I read that before I read his bits in Excalibur. So
Mm.
I'm not sure what the actual timeline is. I'm not sure if that happens after the events of
Okay. Yeah.
Excalibur.
Timeline is whatever you
I
want in this multiversal
Right.
offshoot
So
of the
I'm gonna
MCU
say it's the
616.
way I'm gonna say it happened in the order that I read it.
Then
Um,
so it is, so may it be done.
and so I have been spending time uh uh meditating and connecting with Galartrox and
Mm.
trying to have a more symbiotic and mutually beneficial relationship with my inner demon. So and that's and so we're gonna delve into that,
Mm.
and we'll get there.
Nice. Nice. All right, cool. So some foreshadowing there. All right, cool. Yeah. So you're maybe like in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So door closed, locked, private, and you're able to do a little meditating there.
Yes.
Nice. All right. It takes us to Connor.
I've got 2 things basically. One is I've got to bandage up and heal as best as my broken human body can do. I do want to check in and see how. What's Brother Voodoo's brother's name again?
Daniel.
Daniel. I do want to see how Daniel's doing.
Mhm.
I feel badly that he's fighting that battle that is kind of thrust on him from me. My character is a little bit lost.
Mm.
I'm not as a human character in these fights. I'm not faring as well as people with superpowers,
Mhm.
and my superpowers are basically causing Daniel to expend his energy and effort and time. There's a component where I don't really know what to do to move forward. In one sense, if I take the wolves back in, I could be a danger to everybody again. But then at least Daniel would be able to help fight against the vampires. So there's a noble part of me that's like, well, I wonder if they could put the wolves back into me, and if basically with the dead man switch, that I could take myself out, would that at least take out the quote unquote the evil and keep it from hurting anybody else? And then Daniel could effectively take my place. Yeah, my character Connor as a human character is a little bit lost right now. And so he's bandaging himself up, kind of trying to see how things can work out. He'll probably, I don't know if Daniel's in a position where he can talk.
Yeah, yeah, he can. In fact,
all focused and like, gritting his teeth and like, everything. So if he can talk, there could be a conversation there.
Yeah, and we'll say that he's actually eager to speak with you.
Yeah.
But in a way, like, his history is, he taught Jericho everything Jericho knew, right? Jericho, when he first came on the scene, was a more secular person, and it was Daniel that had all of this knowledge from his bloodline. And so he's a good teacher, and he's accustomed to teaching people maybe that initially didn't want to learn.
That qualifies me.
Yeah, when Dr. Voodoo was early on, he didn't jump into his birthright quite as willingly as other heroes did. So you at least have a curiosity that Daniel would find to be a good building block, if nothing else. So he is remarkably patient despite the situation that he's in, which is undeniably painful and rigorous and stressful on every level. But
So
he
I'll
does
ask-
take the time to speak to you. Yeah.
I'll ask Daniel, what can I do to help?
Zelma is the key. She always was. I could feel that. She has much to give and much to unlock. And I sense that she will, she has a great role to play here. Talk to her, support her. She doesn't know what it is to be a werewolf. She might know academically, but she can't understand that. And she might benefit from your perspective, right? She's an eager student, and she will find any answer that is in a book, but maybe not all the answers are just in books.
I don't know really anything I could teach her about being a werewolf. I've basically been trying to just keep it from hurting anybody. And right now it seems like it's hurting you. It's hurting everybody. It's causing everybody to have problems. I think it'd be better off without it.
This makes you an exceptional case. Not all werewolves have comported themselves such. There is a nobility in the way you carry yourself, though you might not think of yourself as elevated in that way, but from someone who has experienced or heard tell of many of your kind, there are only a handful that go about their lives with the empathy that you do. So don't sell yourself short.
Thank
Don't
you.
worry.
I'm still not certain.
He looks at you and goes, "Don't worry. I won't tell the others."
Don't cry, Connor.
Yeah. How much longer do you feel you can do this?
My goal would be until the full moon passes. I am not sure if I can reach
That's like 2 more days.
I am not sure if I can reach that goal, but at least through the night. Or, he looks at the sky and like, or whatever. um, However, the moon right now is, can't put this into words well, but it's both creating a tremendous amount of stress. It's sending the more demonic half, the half that comes from the dark hold. It's making it incredibly strong. However, there is a strength that I'm getting from it too, a power that I can't explain. I've never experienced ebbs and flows of my power or Dr. Voodoo's power or my brother's power from the moon. That's not where we get our power from. That's not part of our tradition per se. But I am feeling something at play here that I have not felt. So it's curious, and that's why it's difficult for me to estimate exactly how long I'll be able to hold on, because I feel strength waxing and waning at the same time.
Whenever you feel like you're at your end, obviously let me know. I'll check back in. If this has always been a burden that's been put on me, so I will take it back whenever you cannot manage it any further, and I'll figure out something at that point, whether the the dark half is still there or not.
Yeah, he might suggest, like, while you were gone, we entertained visitors from the local emergency crews, police officers, firefighters, priests. I inquired whether or not there would be a secure jail cell in an otherwise unused building that we could make use of should we need that. And they're working on getting us one.
It's got to be incredibly secure. Far stronger than a regular jail cell. I'll see what potential final solutions there might be here. I believe Cullen's got some. I've heard rumors that he's got grenades that capitalize on the silver allergy. So we'll see.
I will do my best to make sure it doesn't come to that. And thank you and your friends for what you've been doing, putting yourselves in harm's way despite not being your full self.
Yeah, everybody's in harm's way right now.
That is the truth. Go see Zelma.
Sure.
Okay. And with that, he kind of closes his eyes and goes back into a little bit of a more meditative state.
Awesome. So everything is hinging on Zelma's what, like 16?
No, she's probably like 19 or so.
All right.
Yeah. As I mentioned in the description of the last video, this is the first video we're recording where Zelma is in the MCU.
Yes.
So just to pull back the curtain a little bit, we wrote up Zelma as a rank 1 character based on her very first appearances in the comics. But I quite like her MCU appearance, so maybe we'll introduce a new build for her that we'll share. I've worked one out. I'll share that in an upcoming video, and I think it'll give her a little bit more flexibility with the party. So I'm excited to try that out. But For now, we'll keep her old build in place. So yeah, do you want to seek her out?
Obviously, yeah.
Okay.
Let's have a conversation with Zelma.
Yeah. Anyone else maybe kind of finish what they're doing and want to go to the library kind of at the same time?
Yes, I bring sandwich. I bring sandwiches.
Nice.
I need to update Connor on the moon situation. So
Ooh, yeah.
looking for him rather than Zelma first.
Yeah, we'll say that you make your way down and he's just wrapping up the conversation with Daniel, and you can see Daniel go into this contemplative, meditative state, and Connor turn around and you have an opportunity to speak with him.
So Connor, I got some interesting information about the moon and why it suddenly appeared out of cycle. FISA told me that 3 people from the New York area, Tigra, Hunter's Moon, and Dirk Garthwaite, went to the Asgardian plane and freed Khonshu. That's the god that Hunter's Moon is dedicated to. Apparently he had been imprisoned, and letting him free then produced this moon effect that we're seeing now.
He's the Egyptian god of the moon.
And
All right.
you do recall the word Khonshu was mentioned by Zelma back at the library when she was just breezing through it. Some of the notes that we talked about is that there is a lot of stuff in the book about astrology and about the role of the moon specifically in astrology. So you have the typical 12 zodiac symbols, and then each one of those 12 is split into another 12, and there's a word dodecatemaron, something like that. That is governed by the role of where the moon is. So this idea that the moon is actually as important, if not more important, than your sun sign in determining your fate is the book where that comes from, that even a lot of modern astrology is based off of. This is, from thousands of years ago.
I gotta say, this sounds like a lot of woo-woo to me.
You're right.
I just kind of thought that it had an infection or like banner or something like that. And now you're telling me there's gods and we're surrounded by magic, and like I don't really know where I fit in with this. Really don't.
Well, maybe you should go talk to Zelma.
Yeah.
All right.
All
So,
right.
so you guys can make your way there. Cullen is there with some sandwiches, and Graham, is Alder gonna make his way there as well, or are you gonna after you've done your recording, or do you want to rest up first?
I mean, I don't. How much time has passed?
I don't really feel like it's been that long since we got there.
Yeah, like
I haven't slept yet.
Half an hour?
half an hour. Yeah, not enough to gain any like hit points back or health points back or anything.
Yeah, I mean, you would probably just, rest after that, but, yeah, I think so. I think probably just resting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the other 3 of you make your
These
way.
things Zelma have.
Yeah. So Zelma is just excited. There's post-it notes everywhere. She's got a Charlie Day board up, with things connecting to other things. And she's got this excited look on her face. And as as you come in, she just starts yammering at a bunch of different things at the same time, but then kind of calms herself down and says, "Okay, here's what I've got. This book is not a spell book, but it has a lot of information about determining the right time and the right conditions that theoretically you could cast a spell that incorporates things like the celestial bodies, right? And she shows you that one map of the Earth as being one sphere sitting inside a hollow sphere that the stars are painted on. Obviously not physically correct, but when she talks about like the presence of all this, she's like, the way they've lined all this up, even though their understanding of astronomy wasn't correct, their understanding of the 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 forces of nature and how they can impact somebody were remarkable for the time, and especially as it comes to the moon. So somebody who had this information could have used it to cast a spell at the perfect time to maybe do something where maybe it wouldn't work under normal circumstances.
Like make it eternal night.
Like make it eternal night. Like ordinarily, that is not something that you could just do. You need everything working in your favor for that to happen. And this book is like the guide to that. It is the guide to that. Now, what's interesting is that the Mad Thinker was looking for this. Now, what I know about the Mad Thinker is he's not only like obviously super smart or stuff, but he is so smart, and his brain is designed to figure out the most likely outcome for things.
Mm-hmm. It was designed.
It was, right. Now I think one of your bullets is in his head.
Yes.
So I guess what I'm curious about is, why is the Mad Thinker looking for this now, 4 days after the spell or whatever it was cast? Whoever did this must have had some kind of information that's at least similar to this. Maybe they got it from a copyright. This isn't the only copy of this. This is the original, one of the, the original, the original text is far older, but this is like the earliest, I think the earliest replica of it.
Perhaps it was simply to get it out of the hands of someone like you.
Maybe. Yeah, perhaps. I don't know. That wasn't a rhetorical question. I really don't know.
Well, but we don't know
Can you
that the Mad Thinker
use
was aligned with the people who did the spell, right? I mean, we
Right.
now know he was aligned with Hydra. We don't know that Hydra was aligned with this whole
Whoever
black.
this was.
Right. And you have certainly been aware that there are different factions. For example, when you fought the Rat Bomber and the Carpathian and that group, that was a different group than Hydra. Now, Hydra seems to be one of the larger groups, right? Where you've bounced up and against them.
You
Yeah.
did tell us who it's rumored to be behind this, right? You told us that.
Blade.
Yes.
Yes. You are aware that Blade, which, maybe to Zelma's like, that doesn't make sense to me, but I don't know enough about Blade.
No, that's
She probably she probably takes a look at Spitfire, gets a weird look, and then just stops talking.
Yeah, and Spitfire is like, I know enough about Blade to know this doesn't make any
yeah.
sense.
No. So, as would I, since vampire hunters. But I guess my question is, can we then utilize this information to undo what was done?
That's what I was going to ask.
Find
Does
the
this
right.
give us the capability to reverse it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
The one thing that isn't accounted for here is we know that it was practitioners or users of the Dark Force dimension that were another element here. There's nothing in this book about the dark force dimension. They had no concept of it when they wrote this down. So that's like a separate kind of element that maybe that's where the magic comes in. So they took the information to have like the perfect circumstances and conditions, and then they married it to whatever spell they had to turn the dark force users into portals, essentially. And then because of the conditions, all of that worked like perfectly. Remember, we know a few days ago when this happened, the Scarlet Witch tried to use her magic to stop this and couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that seems like it couldn't happen without everything being like optimized.
But if there's this dark force dimension,
Mhm.
one might assume that an opposite dimension exists.
Well, if not an opposite dimension, and she flips through and she says, all right, when it talks about the moon and she flips to a passage that she's got a little ribbon or something demarking it. We talk about the moon. There's some language here about Khonshu being the entity that controls the moon,
Mm-hmm.
unlike other deities. There's something special about him. I think maybe one of the conditions to have this happen is that Khonshu had to be out of the picture. And obviously, if he's back, the moon is able to pierce through this. Well,
So step one to unraveling.
that's evidence, right? That by changing the conditions, we got a small victory. We got the moon in the sky, right? The moon doesn't impact the vampires the way the sun does, but it at least proves that a celestial, object can pierce this veil in a way that isn't explained by either science or magic alone or
Yes.
religion. So that's a big thing. And the other thing is, and she flips through, there are charts and charts. And we were looking at the actual Astronomicon. There are like 100 pages of meticulously written charts that all talk about where the moon is and what the power of the moon has at any given point in time. And then she says it talks a lot about something called the lot of fortune and the lot of spirit. And these are things that are used in astrology even today, but their roots go way back. And if I had to, and a lot of this is just, she looks at maybe something that Connor said earlier. It's just like woo woo. It's like, it doesn't make sense to me. It's not like, she'll phrase it like this. It's not like real magic. It's like, this is the woo woo, not like the real magic, like I do, the real stuff. But if I had to break it down, like, one, the lot of fortune is very clearly aligned with the moon, and the lot of spirit is aligned with the sun. The lot of fortune is all about how things that are outside of your control affect you. And that's like the myths of the moon that we know about from any culture or from science. The way the moon can affect the tides. The moon has a force, a scientific force that impacts what happens on this earth. And this book defines it. And then if you cross-reference this with some Khonshu stuff, and I've got some other mythological texts here, this is the time right now with the full moon out that we can harness that power. And I think if I can if I can transcribe some of these glyphs in here, Connor, onto you, might mean you getting some new ink, but I can harness the power of the moon, of the full moon, as a ward on your body that would protect you. And this is so specific. I can protect you from the demonic half.
I have a
And I
really important question.
think I can let the other half back in if you want it.
So, just so I understand this, Connor has to get naked and we're going to tattoo him, right?
Um, sure. I mean, your house, your rules. If you want that, I guess. Uh, yes, it's right here, written in Latin.
Must be, must be
Biggest
naked.
dickus.
No objections.
Like
I
the
couldn't-
Thor,
I
the
couldn't-
Thor
I
scene
couldn't-
where the goddesses drop dead or pass out.
I couldn't keep a straight face. I'm sorry. Uh,
Um,
this sounds cool.
but it's got to be done soon because if we don't do it now, while the full moon is full, we've got another day. Um, I mean, just look. She even says, I mean, just look at the charts,
All right.
and she hands you like nonsense, just like page after page of just like zodiac symbols, just taking up the entire page with other random words in Latin. Uh, obviously, we have to do it like now.
Now. Right now.
You're on mute, Connor. Vann.
I said, yeah, obviously Connor is totally out of his depth when it comes to everything magic here, in terms of what she's saying and what Cullen is saying. What I'm hearing is you think that there's something that you can do that would allow me to better protect myself or harness or hold in the wolf so that Daniel can get back to helping people.
If I may.
Yes, in a word. And if I can just one moment,
She's
Colin.
gonna bring you back. She's gonna give you your good wolf and get rid of your bad wolf.
Yeah. Now, you've seen maybe TV shows where there's a protective circle, right? And if somebody breaks the circle, the demons get in, right? There is some truth to that, right? There are protective glyphs that work. And using this information, I can key that. And using what we know about werewolves that we talked about earlier, where they come from, where they're written about in the Necronomicon. Sorry, in the Darkhold. We know that that's where they came from, right? And we talked about this in MCU lore. The first mention of the Darkhold was in Werewolf by Night, issue 1 or 2. So everything we know about the Darkhold starts with werewolf shit in the MCU. So strong connection there. And this was a curse that was in the bloodline. Again, and she's like, these are all things, right? Outside of your control. This is what the the lot of fortune talks about. Like, these are all things, your bloodline, the phase of the moon, this curse, all of that is out of your control. I can bring it into your control. So yes, Cliff Notes version, The bad wolf does not go into you. The, let's call it the natural wolf. I don't know that I would call it good. I think you're the good or evil, but this is the more of the natural wolf. And we know there are instances in cultures outside of the Darkhold, right? We know that lycanthropy does not only come from the Darkhold. There are other examples of that, and these cultures do not have the rabid monster 3 days out of the month. That is not part of their tradition. So, the only caveat I have, and I don't think this is good or bad, this is just a condition, is that we know from this book all of this knowledge, all of the influence, all of the power. Khonshu is a part of that. I I don't know what that means, but none of this happens without
Khonshu is
him.
what, if I understood it correctly, the god of the moon.
Yeah, she flips to a page. This isn't in the real Astronomicon, but she flips to a page and you can see. Actually, she brings out a different book. She brings out a book of like a real world book of Egyptian mythology, and there's a real entry there of Khonshu, and she shows you a picture of this like raven-headed god, and she reads you some things that he is in control of the moon and the protector of travelers at night. And she goes, "This is an entity that has inspired people for centuries, if not millennia, to protect innocent travelers at night. And oftentimes that would put him at odds with vampires. Of course, being entities that prey solely at night. Well, last 3 days excluded. So that is something I cannot predict. But we can,
All right.
we can, we can explore that together, I guess.
All right. I already was talking to Daniel. As much good as all of you are trying to do, I am not, at least in this first battle, I did not fare very well out there. I'm open to getting more ordnance. However, though, Daniel's already stated he's struggling with this. Daniel's struggling with this. You think you have some sort of patchwork scheme to like make it not be dangerous. Cullen, before we do this, let's go to your armory. I believe you've got silver grenades. One way or another, let's get past this tonight. And either Daniel can help you guys tomorrow, or if this works, I'm happy to still be on the team. But if this doesn't work, and this spell or whatever the hell it is doesn't prevent this apparently demonic energy from like taking over again, I want to be certain that you guys can take me down. So let's set this up.
So dramatic.
But fire do it.
But sure. If
I'm
you
just
think having a silver grenade as a suicide last ditch
I don't know.
emergency
I don't know.
contingency
I
plan,
I don't.
ease your conscience by all
I
means.
don't have a ring to stop this. I don't have, what we're talking about is a lot of ifs. And what I'm talking about is we should have some certainties.
Well,
We can gamble all we want.
there is
And
nothing
I'm not
certain. That is true. There's
so
nothing certain when it comes to magic.
exactly. So I don't mind that everybody's rolling the dice on this. What I don't want to happen is I don't want to become a bigger immediate problem to everybody in the midst of already this shithole that we're in.
If it doesn't work, I'll pump you full of silver. It's fine. Yes.
Okay.
And in game terms, then the way this would work is in exchange for your incremental increase. So instead of getting a trait or a power or whatever, we will remove the negative of you going
Berserk.
berserk. Well, not going, you still have the berserk thing, but you losing control of your character every 3 days every month.
Okay.
So that'll be the, kind of instead of getting something, you remove a negative.
Okay.
Fine. And now, just for dramatic flair,
Please.
I'll go in there with you. Because if you do get out of control, then the Galartrox will just eat you. And it's fine.
Wait,
That's true. I'm kind of envious of your ring.
All right. So let's say that Zelma's like, all right, I've got a lot to prepare because
We
this
also
is
need to
like,
find a location.
I just need a room with a flat floor and maybe a ceiling that you don't mind me drawing on.
And reinforced walls in case a werewolf gets out of control.
But I'm confident. I'm a solid 50% sure.
But are you a millionaire?
I am not a millionaire. Why do you ask?
Because if this house gets broken, you're going to have to pay for it.
It won't be me though if it breaks it. It'll be you just invoked the Glartrox. You're worried about your house breaking?
I was assuming we'd find an old church. There's lots of old Catholic churches in the city. I'm sure we can be irreverent just this once.
I'd rather do it here only because I'm gonna need a lot of these books and references, and
I have a panic room that will suffice.
you have a panic room? God, you are
Yes, of
rich.
course. Everyone has a panic room when you have money. Why wouldn't you have a panic room?
I have a panic dimension, sort of, but never mind that.
We're not
Everybody has
right now.
everybody has a panic room. For most people, it's just their bedroom or bathroom.
We will not talk about
She's-
dimensions right now. I was trapped in one for a really long time. Fine.
well, that way I'm only worried about the energy it would take to. It would be best to do it here. I can conserve my energy. I'm confident that I can do this, but it's going to take a lot of my time and concentration. So maybe you guys get some sleep.
Maybe you get some sleep.
No, I am not going to be able to sleep. Are you kidding? I have so much I have to go through.
How much do you trust doing this when you're exhausted?
I'm not exhausted. I'm totally fine. You're old. You're all old.
Bleep! No, that bleep! You bleep! Say that one more time.
I mean, you're sitting here, you're drinking, you probably smoking stuff too. I take care
I
of my
don't smoke
body. I'm
anything. I don't
fine.
smoke things. I don't smoke things.
I am fine, and I'll magically support myself as well.
I don't smoke things. I don't smoke things. Thank you. Fine.
Spitfire's just gonna zip out to the kitchen and come back with like an energy drink and just hand it to Zelda.
Yeah. Yeah. And I leave. I'm like, she's gonna get everybody killed because she's gonna be exhausted because children don't have to freaking listen to anything but anything anyone says. And
All
I
right,
go back to my room.
I'll check back. Yeah, give me like 6 to 8 hours. I'll make sure everything's perfect. And like I said, 47% chance this will work. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Like I said, as long as there's a certainty at the end of this, and I actually believe Cullen will shoot me.
Oh yeah. Colin will shoot you.
All right. So let's say let's say 8 hours pass. So that would be 48 for those of you who don't have a healing factor, 48 hit points, assuming you're like sleeping or at least hard resting during that time. So 48 hit points and focus points back. So even if you have a healing factor, you get the focus points back. So that's your rank times 2 per hour is the way
So healing
works.
factor is
When
at
you're,
full health if you have a healing factor, right?
yeah, you were at full health before you got back to the
And then
before you
40.
got back to the curio.
Okay. Good. Cool.
Okay. Um, so it's like, I mean, time almost doesn't make sense, right? But it's when you wake up, whenever you wake up, let's call that morning. So you wake up in the morning, and Zelma is chipper, um, energetic, smiling, and she's like, "I've got it. I've got it. Come on, uh, uh, Daniel. Uh, can you come with us?" And Daniel nods, and you can tell he kind of just floats. He doesn't like walk, but he
Because
floats.
he's a ghost, right?
Yeah, it's an astral form, so it's like more like gliding, let's say. Much like Doctor Strange would in the comics or even the movie when he was in his astral form in the movie. He's not like air walking, he's just gliding, kind of flying around. But you can tell it's taking him effort to move, right? Because he's not moving himself. He's moving two other entities with him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's taking him some effort, and maybe you can see he's definitely a little
Sleepless
slower
night.
than he was previously. Was that Van?
He had a sleepless night.
He did. He had, yeah. I mean, I don't know if he sleeps at all, but he at least has an opportunity to rest when he's inside his brother's physical form. In fact, both of them are strengthened. Like Dr. Voodoo is more powerful when Daniel is inside of him. So not only you were talking earlier about Daniel could go out there and be doing some good. Well, Dr. Voodoo is not at 100% right now
Right.
because he's been
Okay.
away from his brother for
We
this
need to
long.
do this now.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Daniel is able to get there. And you walk into this room, and you can see there are symbols very reminiscent of what you saw in the book covering the walls. There are pentagrams on the ceiling and on the floor with symbols of the zodiac going all around them, right? And not just the 12 symbols, but 144 symbols going all the way around. And there's a reflection of that above. So it's a perfect mirror And there's in the middle of the pentagram, there's just a small, like just a cushion, a small pillow laid out, and she gestures Connor to sit back there, and she's like, "You don't have to get naked, but I do need your shirt off."
Okay. Let's do this.
And she's got some instruments in front of her, including what looks like an old school, whether it's difficult to tell, but it's a tattooing instrument. And Gremdavel, Alder is awake at this point as well, so everyone can be there. And so she's got these tattooing implements that look like maybe part Aboriginal, maybe part ancient Japanese tattooing, the kind
Like
that
a poke style.
Yeah, totally.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt.
And she's got a cup, a old looking wooden cup of ink, but the ink looks like just moonlight, like liquid moonlight just sitting there. It's emitting a little bit of a glow. And you, Connor, can feel it. Not good, not bad, but you feel something like you would feel when the moon is out. But it's not driving you to do anything. You just sense that there is like a gravity to this inkwell. And so she sits you down and she said, "This is going to take like a couple of hours. Daniel, I'm sorry to make you wait more." And she starts tattooing you, and the minutes roll on, and she first starts with a big circle on your back. Then you can feel her drawing like the pentagram and drawing these symbols all the way around. And then you can feel certain symbols that feel differently to you. It's not just a generic symbol. There's something about what she's doing that feels perfect. It just cements you in this moment in time. There's something about what she's doing that feels like it's connecting you to this exact moment. Just a perfect thing. You can't even describe it. You don't even know what she's doing. You can't see what she's doing, but you can feel how right it is what she's doing. And then as she's doing
from
this,
pain into endorphins, and now I'm all like buzzed.
yeah. Now, as she's doing this, Daniel, the look on his face is he's half grimacing, he's half elated. He is almost feels like he's being split in two. But he's holding on. He's holding on. You don't quite see, like, there was a time where you could see, like, from his torso, especially when you were in the astral, Connor, you could see like there were these twin wolves kind of splitting from his torso, fighting each other. You don't quite see that yet because Daniel is in full control. But at some point after a couple of hours, 2, maybe 3 hours, she says she's done. And you know, she looks at Daniel and she says, are you ready?" And Daniel just nods. And she cracks open a book, and this is a newer magic book. And then she has like a personal journal next to it. And she's got them both. She's sitting down outside of the circle at this point. and she's reading from one book and then reading from her personal spell book, journal, book of shadows, whatever you want to call it. And
Grimoire.
grimoire, right? Yeah, and she's reading off things in a language nobody understands. And
I'm keeping
some
my
of the
eye on
words,
Cullen.
huh?
I'm keeping my eye on Cullen,
Oh, I'm
making certain
watching.
that he's like locked and loaded.
Yeah.
I'm definitely locked and loaded. I will shoot you. It's fine.
And some of the words that she reads are dark words. You don't know what she's saying, but you can feel that these are dark. That she is playing with something not impure, let's
Should
say.
I
But
be worried?
maybe you start to get a little worried, but then you can see her go back to her own journal and she is reciting more traditional magic, or maybe even invoking natural magic. There's invocations to the earth itself. So she is strengthening this circle that's surrounding Connor with every every bit of magical ally she can invoke. She's calling out to the native spirits that once lived in this part of the world. She's calling out to Khonshu. She's calling out to the other gods that were mentioned. Apollo is an example of a god that was mentioned in the actual real life Astronomicon. She's calling out to Apollo. She is like casting a wide net. Like any good entity out there that wants to listen, hear me in this moment. Lend me your strength, because she knows she has to dip into some dark shit
Hmm.
in order to split the beast. And her spell reaches a crescendo, and she, shouts out, you know, a word again. You don't know what the word is, but you can tell it's a powerful word. And then she points at Daniel. And then with her hands, she makes this movement of like ripping something in two. And you can see Daniel just standing there, starts to shiver, starts to twitch. And you can see two wolves split from Daniel. One of them crosses into the pentagram freely, goes right through, and goes into Connor. And at this time, Daniel falls down to the ground, passed out. I mean, he's probably just like floating. Maybe even you see him slowly fade. You don't get the sense that he's dying, but you get the sense that he is finally resting.
Hmm.
But behind him, you can see this thin, scraggly, demonic wolf with the pentagram in its forehead. Its skin looks like it's made from the leather or whatever the Darkhold itself is binded with. And it roars in a corporal form. And when we come back in 2 weeks, we're going to roll for initiative.
Okay.
Fighting the evil wolf. Yay.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Next, and then Vann, let's have Connor. Well, let's have Wolfguard
Yes.
enter roll for initiative. So we'll say that you officially have your wolf back without the
All right.
issue of having to give up control every month. And we can play with what role Khonshu might or might not have in this in games to come.
All right.
So bad news, Colin.
Cool.
Yeah, You can't shoot him. Well, you still could shoot him if you want to, but
I
you
don't
don't
want-
have to shoot him.
I don't have to shoot him.
I would imagine that it really depends on how this next battle is going to go.
Mhm.
If I can't defeat the scraggly death wolf in human form, then I would imagine that's probably going to leave me open to being possessed again.
And also, his chances of getting Connor in bed. His vibe. It's his whole thing. So, cool.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Please.
See ya.
Peace out.